buildings are made out of this amazing stuff that NASA created. It's a steel mesh and it's covered in latex. And this allows us to have windows that are not glass. They're screened and they're covered on the inside with the material, Velcroed down, another NASA invention, that you can then roll up to have natural light or breeze or any of that kind of stuff. But the environmental impact is low because they're built on platforms, so they don't actually touch the ground. And the platforms are made of boards that are created from compressed newspaper. It's great. We used as a model for ours Concordia, which is on St. John in the USVI.
Which is the U.S. Virgin Islands.
People
Didn't know that.
Only one other person didn't know that. USVI.
I didn't either. I just didn't say anything.
USVI is the Virgin Islands.
And then when the hurricane comes,
yeah, hurricane benefits. They actually just blow right through. You can roll up both levels of the windows. You don't have to take down any of the structures. And Concordia, who actually gets hit a lot worse than this area, has never ever lost one of these tents. So, there you go.
So basically our biggest,
design challenge.
well, no, our most outstanding thing is basically the overall low environmental impact, which is not only with going with the structures and what we use, but if you look at the island itself, you'll see that the majority of our buildings and trails are on one side of the island, which allows the other side to remain completely wild. And while you can access it through trails or walking and stuff, Wadey's Island is actually one of the few places where the brown pelicans nest and put their eggs and stuff. So if you had a lot of things right along the beach, you would destroy that habitat for nesting. So by centralizing everything on one side, we're trying to preserve that, the naturality on the other side.
What was our biggest design
challenge? Well, the biggest design challenge, I think, was the how to be eco-friendly but durable in terms of hurricanes and flooding. And so I thought we were very happy that one of our group's members had actually experienced a place that did that. And so, and I think we've included solar panels. Personally, I like the idea of the wind also, because we talked about possibly fans in the windows. Possibly, when it's not humid, you can have you have little things that jet out water, and the air blows over it. It's kind of like early air conditioning. But
and then the rains, the roofs, the rain drains down into a
Cistern underneath the tents. And we also talked about the idea of composting toilets. The tents in Concordia have that. And we talked about the idea of solar heated showers, which the showers in Concordia are also solar heated with just a black barrel above.
And I haven't hung mine up yet because it's two-sided. It kind of goes along with her map. If you look at this central section right here, we have basically the amphitheater in the middle with the boardwalk type thing around it. You have your residence end back behind it. And then your welcome center in the front. You're nurturing the lead learner over here, and then our cafe eating area. And then this part was
Ours is kind of more of a day thing. We ran through some ideas of maybe creating a space for overnight visits, but we decided to go with more of a day visit. So.
for most of ours.
For most of
learners,
yeah.
We talked about having the idea of having our welcome center be like more of a permanent structure, and building it with clay tiles and stucco to keep it naturally cool. So naturally cool itself.
And then our success of our group process is we had a natural leader that kind of helped us out, Sarah, and I think we all did really well with listening and collaborating with one another, and then capitalizing on our own talent to be comfortable and diving into something.
And one thing we noticed that Sarah did, like when we were sort of, awash, and how to get things done. Like she would say, well, why don't you write, let's all write two, I think it's the same thing, like everybody write two ideas like for the naming. So she kind of did that naturally, like helping us all do something that then we could contribute. And we actually then cut the words up and remixed them around. So that was another way of accessing the wisdom of the group. Okay, and then we said that everybody took on what they felt strong at, but they took suggestions. It seems like there's this nice kind of synergy that happens. Even we found while you're coloring together, you can brainstorm more mental stuff.
And a lot of I think one of our other strongest aspects is what the kids will actually be working with out there. That we're talking about them actually performing scientific experiments to help with beach erosion. Because that's such a big problem down here on the coast, and instead of having to dig up sand and truck it in and dump it on the beach, for them to actually run experiments on how to take care of that.
What's this?
The bird.
The
pelican.
Birds will be nesting, turtles will be nesting on the beach. So that's one reason why when I designed it, I only have 2 beach access points. One for pretty much everybody, and then one that guest artist has their own private beach access.
And students will rehabilitate injured wild animals, including birds and stuff, and release them into native animals and release them back into the wild.
The brown things are just kind of boardwalks, raised, minimal impact on the environment. I have an extended classroom, just kind of a space where we could move away from here if we had 2 groups there for a day. Just kind of like a research classroom away from the main thing. These are just kind of like little shelters where you could stop with commercial people. Think Huntington with the boardwalks about in the marsh, and they kind of have the shelters. That's what I was thinking about. And this elevation-wise, there's a hill here, and I decided not to go all the way around to enclose it minimally back in the environment. We're going to have bicycles. By the way, since we have $3 billion, we're going to build a new causeway. And it's going to be very environmentally friendly because, no parking. And this is bike trail, again, trying to just stay on the edge, out of the way of a lot of the animal life and things. And then all the kind of the diagonal places are outdoor classroom areas, just kind of a clearing, maybe with, benches or things like that, just for different groups to be. So we have large group areas, small group areas in there.
And every structure pretty much has some sort of outdoor-indoor type thing. Like the cafe has an outdoor area and an indoor area.
Mm-hmm.
The learning centers have outdoor and indoor, so you have that shelter if you need it, but preferably to stay outdoors.
I see the question.
Any comments, questions, suggestions?
I like your name and your sign.
Yeah, I like that name too. I like that you guys really took a lot of our brainstorming into account. I was looking at the chart that Marcy made yesterday where we listed all the things we thought should be included, and you guys really took that into account when designing that.
The front of the building is very, very neatly organized. Reminds me about, I was just staying in Florida and they had the Grand Floridian. This is beautiful.
right.
Yeah, it just reminds me a lot about that.
I like that main center too, looks like it's been great.
Yeah.
It looks like a what?
Stingray.
Oh, I didn't know. That's cool. And Stephanie did some stained glass in our window.
Well, we have our turtle and our seagull that are throughout. You see them now, you see them in stained glass. Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah.